everyone, it's Leanne Carmi. Welcome to the Jumpstart bonus module. I'm really excited about this one because it gives us a chance to just talk about things, stuff that's not part of the course, that's not rigid and part of the case studies and stuff. It's just I'm here, I can answer your questions. I'm going to show you some of the technical stuff that we kind of mentioned last time. Mason is going to be joining us. Unfortunately, the other two coaches, Russell and Steve, were not able to make it today. Steve actually has the flu, so I feel really bad for him. He sounds really bad, but he'll be back next week, and so will Russell. But today you've got me. Mason's going to be on in a few minutes. He's also running late. It's been, I guess, a crazy day for a lot of us, but I'm excited because I've got that technical stuff to show you. I feel comfortable with that. That's my my game right there is doing the tech stuff, and I've got you guys here on the line. So remember, there's the questions box, and you know what? Let's start using it right now. So right now, real quick, just give me a quick hi in the questions box. Let me know you hear me. Let me know you're doing great. Let me know if you've already got something on your mind that you want me to cover today, and you'll want Mason to cover today, and I'll make sure that we do that because this is really a webinar for you and to fill in whatever's missing for you. And just so you know, we've got at least one more module for you that we're going to do because we want to show you the case studies a little more in depth. We want to show you what's working in the case studies. We want to show you what's, well, how we optimized. Okay, and we're going to show that probably next week or possibly the week after. But anyway, it'll be the next module if you're watching the recording. Awesome. So Jim says, hear you fine. Carol says, hi again. Looking forward to learning all cool new stuff. Awesome. Rolanda says, hi. Awesome. Cool. Well, great to have you guys here. Thanks for the comments. And please, that questions box is open. You can see probably right now when you're on live. You won't see it on the recording, but so we've got an awesome audio video guy. But you can see it now. I have a huge screen and I've got the questions box open. And I am looking out for your comments and questions because today it's all about you. And here's the stuff that I personally promised you for today, which is all that FTP HTML editing stuff for CPV Lab and landing pages, right? Which seems so confusing, but honestly, once you do it, it's easy. We're going to talk a little bit about direct linking or LPs, and I'm going to wait for Mason to hop on because I know he's going to have some awesome things to say about that. And we're going to talk about collecting leads, which is something that I do on a regular basis, and so I wanted to bring that up as a topic. But let's start with the technical stuff, and this is specifically for CPV Lab, although it's really similar in other tracking programs that you might use. Okay, there's always something similar to this, and here you've seen this before. This is the CPV Lab campaign. Okay, and what it is, I'll just go to the main page here, and you can see we've got 3 campaigns running. This one right now is the healthcare campaign that Mason is running, and he might talk about that a little bit. And here's the first campaign that we talked about, not running right now because we're making some edits, if you remember. But I'm going to click on the edit button for the campaign, and I'm back where we started. Okay, so it shows you all the information here. And Mason talked about this stuff, how you set this up, and when you have a source of traffic, Vance, actually what he did originally was he pre-selected that and it automatically filled in the URL append token. Okay, and this is pretty simple to set up. A lot of it is automatic. And and what we've got here, again, just to remind you if you're not familiar with this, is the landing page and offer URLs for the campaign. So these are the landing pages that we have. And if we pull this up, I'll just grab this URL and pull it up. What you're going to see is the landing pages that we've shown you before. Okay. And if I click on the link, it's not going to work now because it has to work from the link in CPV Lab. Okay. So if I click on it, it's just going to say it's something about it's not possible, or it's not even saying anything. Okay. But these are the landing pages, right? And these are the 2 landing pages that we had set up for this. And this is the actual affiliate link. Okay, so the offer right here. So see, this is LP name. These are the landing pages. And this is the offer right here. So this comes from the network. The network is Envious Media. The offer is Think Credit. And this is actually Steve's link. And just a quick thing that you want to know about this is when you put in the link, you always want to end with the sub ID variable right here equals, and you leave that blank. And that is what allows CPV Lab to play nice with it. Because here's what happens. CPV Lab created this link. Now remember, right now, excuse me, I just need to cough for a second. Oh, sorry about that. Right now, the domain that I have CPV Lab set up on, and you can kind of see, you know, I mentioned that last time, right? That we all do what we're good at. Well, I do a lot of the tech stuff. And so I set it up on clicktrack.us. That's just a domain name that I picked, okay, just for tracking clicks. And so the link that CPV Lab set up for us to track is clicktrack.us/base.php. That's just whatever PHP code it has on there. And then it's got the campaign code. Okay, it's got the question mark to say that variables are coming. It's got the campaign code, C equals 4. Okay, so you know, here it is, campaign ID 4. Okay, so everything's kind of connecting here, right? And then it's got the key equals, and this is some random thing that it comes up with, this random combination of letters and numbers. And keyword equals and keyword. And remember where this is from? Keyword equals keyword is from right here, from the URL pin token for traffic vans. So here's what happens. This right here was placed in traffic vans, okay? So this is placed in traffic vans. And as this link goes to traffic vans, this variable right here, the keyword variable inside the squiggly bracket, inside of traffic vans, that becomes the target, okay? The target keyword or target URL. It just changes automatically. That's how the system works, okay? That's inside of traffic vans. So when this actually goes out, what actually happens is the link doesn't look like equals keyword. It looks like keyword equals, and then it's got the URL, one of the targets that we use, or it's got a keyword that we use, right? Facebook.com, if you're targeting that, okay, if you're crazy enough to target that. Or in our case, you know, we have the different bank sites. So, you know, jobs.bankofamerica.com. Okay, that's what actually shows up. Keyword equals, and then it'll show the URL or the keyword. And here's what happens after that. CPV Lab actually keeps that, but sends forward to the offer a random code, a random letter number code. And in the affiliate network inside of NVS Media has a pixel placed, okay, and here's the tracking pixel right here, the image pixel, okay, so this is placed inside. And every time there's a conversion, this little thing fires, okay, it's called fires. NVS Media, the affiliate network in this case, sends back this link, and it sends back information about the random number that was added here, okay, the sub ID that was added. And what does that do? It tells CPV Lab, okay, this particular random number, which I know is this particular click from this target, right? It keeps all that information automatically converted. And so it updates the statistics here to show the conversion, and it knows exactly where it came from. And that is how you can start optimizing. Okay, that's how you start optimizing, because now you know that, hey, I'm getting a lot of conversions from this particular link. Well, that's great. I'm going to run this link in another campaign. I'm going to put a lot of money into it because it's positive. And now you're going to have the ability to cut off stuff that's not converting, but maybe taking a lot of traffic. And I hear Mason. So hello, Mason. Welcome to the call. And I think
hey guys.
Hey, and I think Rick is going to promote you so you can see questions. And Mason, we're just talking about the technical stuff. I'm just showing them these things before we get into more of a discussion. And basically that's it. So CPV Lab gives you all the information, okay? And you can continue. But in order to do that, you've got to do a few technical things. And here they are. So the first thing I've already told you, which is you take this tracking pixel to the affiliate network. So what Steve had to do is he had to take this particular link right here and he had to post it inside of NVS Media. And he probably just contacted his affiliate manager and said, hey, I need to place a pixel. And the affiliate manager probably said, here you go, I'll place it for you. What is it? Or another possibility is that, you know, depending on, I've never used Envious Media myself, but depending on the affiliate network, he might have just been able to do it himself. Like, for example, on Neverblue, you could do it yourself. On OfferMobi, you can do it yourself. Any Has Offers system, you can do it yourself. So MobAF, etc. Okay, so that's the thing. Now, here are the other things that I wanted to show you, because what we want to look at is the landing pages. Okay, so this thing right here, right, we're going to actually edit that. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And I've got my CyberDuck pulled up. Okay, this is what I use for FTP. And I'm going to log into our landing page site, which is creditforjobs.com. All right, so here we are, and you're always going to go in the HTTP docs. Okay, not the HTTPS, but HTTP docs. And one of the landing pages is here. I don't know if it's this one or the other one, but we're just going to edit this. And you want to go into the index.html page. Or in some cases, if you've got some PHP going on, it's going to be index.php. Either way, all I do is I right-click on this, and I go to Edit With, and I pull it up with a program called Text Wrangler, which I don't know if this program exists for the PC, but there's other programs that do this. And it's just not only a text editor, but an HTML, PHP, etc. editor. In other words, it gives different colors for different things so that it's easier to look at what you're doing. Okay, so this is very simple, and this is the actual landing page, right? So we've got the HTML, the head of the HTML. If you were doing SEO, this is like where you would put all the meta tags and things. Then the body starts. This is what people actually see. Okay, and we've got different divisions, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to understand any of this stuff, right? Because when your designer sends you this, that's fine. You just take it. Here's the text that can be changed. Employers will check your credit score before they hire you. Let's see if we're working on this. Yep, we are. Okay, so here's the text. Don't get surprised during an interview. Okay, and here's that. Don't get surprised during an interview. And now, here's what we have. When we finish this up, what the designer gave us had nothing here. Okay, this was empty. It had a button, and he had the button image, okay, which you can see if we look at CyberDuck. Here's the button image right here. If I download that and open it, it's going to look like this, free credit score. It's going to have this button, right, that's on the site, or actually probably the full area here. Okay, that's clickable. And so what I did was I knew that I needed to have that go to a certain link. And what did I know? Well, step one here, it actually tells you what to do first. It says landing page offer links. And you see how it says href? That just means in HTML, that just means here's a hyperlink, and here's the reference link. Here's where you're going to send this to. Okay, clicktrack.us, which is this site again that I've got CPV Lab put on. So if you install CPV Lab on a domain called 1234556.com, that's what it would say, 1234556.com/base2.php. Here they've put the entire HTML, click for offer, right? And you know, if you copy this and paste it somewhere, you would change click for offer to, you know, click here now or get it now or whatever the case may be. In our case, we're using a button. So all I need is this link. So what I did was I copied this thing. Okay, I copied it. I put it in a text document. I took out the HTTP all the way up to the PHP. And that is what I put right here. And you can see that here, http://clicktrack.us/base2.php. Okay, everything else was done by the designer. Next, I just followed the instructions here. Step 2, add code to landing pages. All I did was go in here, I copied this, and it tells me paste on landing page before the /body tag. Okay, so what did I do? I went here, I found the body tag, and I pasted it right before the body tag. Here's where I put it. Okay, and you can see it's exactly the same thing. So check this out. Okay. Input type hidden, ID hid location. I don't even care what that means, right? Value is the link right here. And then script type JavaScript, source, it's got the landing.js/script. That's exactly what we have right here, right before the /body tag, okay? All I did was I did that. I saved it. It automatically uploaded back through CyberDuck, okay? Because that's just how these programs work together, nice and easy. Okay, if you use something like FileZilla, which I've used before, it does the same thing. You save it, and FileZilla will actually ask you, do you want to upload the new file? And you say yes, and it uploads. In this case, it's just streamlined in that way. So that's all I did. And then once I was done with that, I edited the second one. I went to the other landing page, okay, because again, we've got 2 landing pages in here, right? We've got job 1 and job 2. So I edited job 2. I did the same exact thing to job 2. And check this out. It's got step 2 be optional. Add code to landing page to extract direct traffic. Now, here's how this works. This is if you're doing both SEO traffic and paid traffic, you can follow this step, okay, and you pick one of the versions, either PHP or JavaScript, okay, and the PHP goes up to here, by the way, and you put it on and you just change XXX with the actual landing page ID. So notice how each landing page has its own ID, 1 and 2. That's what that means. Now, here's the thing. I originally added this, okay, and it says paste on landing page before the body tag, before the / body tag, but after the step 2 code. And what happened was this tracked incorrectly, which it wasn't supposed to do. So I took it out. We don't need it anyway. We're not doing SEO for these landing pages, right? We're just sending paid traffic for PPV. But if we did need SEO traffic, I would contact CPV Lab support and say, hey, what's going on, right? Because it should work, and it's worked for me in the past. So it might be a new version or something like that. But anyway, we don't need this for paid traffic. So leave it out. And that's it. We already talked about adding the pixel to the network. If you need to do an iframe pixel, it's right here, okay? But you can see that it's almost the same thing. The iframe pixel is a little bit different. The link is a little bit different, okay? But mostly you're just going to use either the image pixel, or in the case of mobile marketing, if you're doing mobile marketing, you will use this as a postback URL. Okay, that's what it's called, a postback URL. Okay, otherwise it's called an image pixel. It does the same thing. So that's it. There's other fun stuff in here. If you're running your own landing page and an offer page, and you want to actually show the person's information, you can show the target, or if you want to show the target on the landing page, like if you want to say, hey, welcome visitors from walmart.com, you can do that using this PHP code, okay? And they show you how to do that, all right? And it's just basically copying the code. So that's it for the HTML stuff. And then it just works, right? Because then if we test the link, and I'll hit test link, and if you can read the bottom left, I'll just read it to you. It's got the link that's right here, but instead of keyword equals keyword, it just says and test equals true, and that's just for our information, okay? So if I click on this, it's going to open one of the pages, okay, which is the other page this time, and you can see that we've got the text on here, and the button goes to, and I'm looking at the bottom. It might be too small for you to read, but I'm going to read it for you. Clicktrack.us, again, our tracking domain, / base2.php, which again is the offer link right here, base2.php. So hopefully that makes more sense. It's not so much about understanding the PHP and the HTML. It's just about following instructions, and then it just works. It just works. So, and actually, Mason's the one that taught me how to do all this stuff. All right, and Jim's got a question in here. Let me see if it's got to do with what I'm talking about now. Okay, so we'll answer that in a minute, Jim. That's a great question. Cool. So let me pull Mason out here and just see if he has any comments about the technical mumbo jumbo that I just went over.
No, that's pretty much sums it up as far as that. I have something I can show here in a minute when you're done, Leanne, also.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want the screen now?
Sure.
All right, let's do that.
So we were running the offers that we showed you before. We'll do more of this next week because that's not really the point of today. But we actually did get that profitable, and then they pulled the offer down the next day. So, that's something that can happen, and does happen quite often. So just because you get something profitable doesn't mean you're going to make $1 million, because there's all kinds of things that can happen. at that point. So we've been testing some other offers, but I just thought of something that would help you guys probably get started, with very low risk and actually a pretty decent success rate in terms of the campaigns you're going to run on PPV. So one thing you can do on Traffic Advance, they don't allow it on direct CPV, but there's something called self-targeting, or basically where you're targeting the same site that the offer is. So let's say we're trying to run an offer for CarMax.com, just for example. Then we pop CarMax.com over the top of CarMax.com. And that's sort of like a brand, I guess you could call that. It's almost like bidding on the brand in AdWords, which, as everyone knows, all works very well. You want to read the offer description to make sure they don't prohibit that. But I just thought of that because we were running, and I thought about doing this before, but I decided to just test it on a bunch of different things. But I'll just show you what. Actually, I'm doing this right now as Leanne was talking. So I just thought that I would show everybody, and this is part of the case study, I guess you could say. But we've got another offer actually that we want to run over some of these targets that for some reason the reviewers over at Traffic Advance are seeing an exit pop up over the top of it when people try to exit the page, which is not allowed by their terms. But we don't see it, and my rep at Traffic Advance doesn't see it. But somehow they see it. Maybe they're in a different country or something, and I don't know. Not sure what the deal is with that, but it's a pretty good offer, and we've actually got two, one for disabilities, and so I've got a bunch of government disability sites that I was running before that weren't converting for me. So anyway, so here's an affiliate network we just really signed up with. We haven't done much with them. I've never even heard of them before. Steve found this somehow. You can see it's Steve's account. But they're called Point Click Track, which is, I don't know, it's not a very creative name, but whatever. So you can see here, this is an offer, one of the offers we were testing. So we tested a few offers. I'll just go ahead and show them to you. We'll talk about optimization next week because that's, more, it's going to take a little bit more time to go through all that stuff and how we got it profitable, even though we couldn't run it after the fact. But anyway, so I'll show you some of the stuff that we ran real fast, and then I'll show you something that kind of got me thinking about what you guys could do to get some campaigns out there, and run them for $5 or $10. And you're not going to get a ton of volume, but hey, if you set up 20 of them, maybe 5 of them will work at $10, $15 a day, maybe more. I don't know. Maybe half of them will work. I don't know. But so we found a zip submit. Our thought was, hey, people will enter their zip code and then we get paid for that. That's pretty easy. But this page did not convert. I let it run about. You can see we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 different offers in here, and this is the one that they say has an exit pop, so it didn't actually get to run. Anyway, let me just do this so I can show you. This is sorry. Okay, let's look at this. So this offer didn't convert at all. I entered my zip code, and it worked. So, I mean, if it's something short like this, there's no harm in just filling it out yourself to make sure it's tracking correctly, because we had one that was supposed to pay us $5 for a zip code, which we thought was too good to be true, and it turned out to be too good to be true. So let's look at a couple of these. That one's no good. I don't know why. Well, I think this one's probably too targeted towards Cobra. I think that's the problem, now that I think about it. we weren't just running for people on Cobra. We were running on just private health insurance sites and things like that, like Aetna and whatnot. So here's another one. No, actually, okay, that offer's gone. So when your offer goes down, what happens is they'll redirect their traffic somewhere else to a different offer, and then they won't pay you for it. So yeah, networks make a lot of money like that, because especially if people have blogs and they have banners up there and stuff, there's all this traffic still coming into these offers that have been gone for a year or two or whatever, and people haven't changed their links, so the networks get paid and you don't, because they just send it wherever they want. So this is not the offer. I can't show you because it's gone now. Okay, that's an exit pop, in case anybody's wondering. You saw what just happened? So there's a script on here that says when I try to leave the page, pop up this thing, and then if I hit stay on page, then it either takes me to another offer, or it just keeps me on the same page, which is what it did. So if I hit here and then it goes away. But Traffic Advance does not allow you to run exit pops. Usually that's for people running email, because really all ad networks hate exit pops. It's a bad user experience. AdWords doesn't allow it. Nobody allows exit pops. So if you get an offer, and this is something that you'll encounter quite a bit if you're running CPV traffic. So when you go to the landing page and then you try to get out, you hit the back button or try to close it, if that pop-up box pops up there, then then it'll get disapproved. So that's something to keep in mind. And you can ask your affiliate manager if the advertiser has a version of the page that does not have a exit pop. So that's actually an important thing to remember, because that you'll see that quite a bit. Go ahead, Leanne.
Yeah, I mean, there's different requirements for different CPV networks. Like for example, in some you can have an autoplay video, and some you can't. And some you can have pop-ups, and some you can't. And if you can't have pop-ups and you're building your own landing pages, you can actually do a JavaScript pop-up, which is allowed, because it doesn't stop them from hitting any buttons on their browser. Like, they could still close the page. But the other thing I was going to say, and I don't know if you're going to mention this, is the, I guess, gray hat / black hat way of doing things, which could get you banned from a network if they find out, is because you're using tracking like CPV Lab, you can switch your links out later. So you can put something really vanilla in there when they're testing it for, and approving it. And then you could add that landing page that has the pop-up. And a lot of people do that. And I've done that. And you can get caught, so I don't recommend it. But it's possible to do if you really want to test the page.
Yeah, that's true. That's what Steve told me to do actually on the Speedy Health one. He's like, we'll just send it to the other one, and then when they approve it, change it back. Now that's easy enough to do. You just, like, let's say, I submitted something for approval, and then I just put 100% to the other offer. Put this one as inactive, and then after they approved it, I can change where the traffic goes here on my side, which is one of the reasons why you want to use something like CPV Lab. It just makes changing out links and everything so much easier. Because remember, when they click the link, the tracking link, it hits our server again, and our server is going to tell it where to send it after that. But I didn't want to do that because this is my Traffic Advance account, and I like Traffic Advance, and I don't want to get banned. So we're not telling you to do that. I submit everything for approval, I just, I don't like to have any problems with that, take any chances. So it's better just to get a clean page and then just have that, in terms of a long-term business strategy, I guess you could say. So here's one of the other ones. This one paid out, I believe, on the second page. Wait. Paid out $6, and they have to fill out the second page before he got paid. It wasn't just the first page like we had thought. The other people just weren't going to pay us. They said it was converted on a zip code. I went and tested it, and it didn't work. So here's another one. This is the second page submit. So that's another thing to look at when you're looking at offers is on what page, does it convert? Do they have to go through 5 pages, to convert? If that's the case, then they need to pay you more, because the more information that you generate for the advertiser, the more valuable the lead is, and the more expensive it is for you to generate that lead. So, a one field zip submit is going to pay usually the lowest. And then up from there, you have an email submit, which usually pays a little bit more, maybe 50 cents more, $1 more. Steve and I are working on getting an advertiser that we're working direct with that's going to pay us $5 for an email. If they can make money at $5 an email, then, then we'll be happy to run it for them, So yeah, that's the second page submit. This one is the one that I was going to show you here in a second. Now, take a look at this. So if we come in here and click on the offer, okay, payout on fully completed and submitted application. All right, so they have to fill out the whole thing, put in their health history, whatever else that they want. I haven't gone through the whole thing yet. Well, I'm not going to, so I don't want to fill in a bunch of stuff. But it just starts here on a zip submit, which is good to not present somebody with like 20 fields on the first page. It's good to give them one thing to at least click on or fill out. So I'll put in my zip code. And then it takes them to the form. So we call that compliance momentum. So if you get someone to do something first, then they're more likely to do the next thing. And then if they've done the next thing, it's just a psychological thing, because after you've already entered in, 6 things, then you kind of feel obligated. You feel like you have something invested in this already. And then so, people are like, well, I've already filled out 5 pages, so they're more likely to fill out the 6th page, at that point sometimes.
Now, that's a really good point that Mason just made. And I don't know if you guys have seen any of the survey offers that they have out there, where it's like you go in and they ask you questions about your favorite pop star or rapper, and then you get to the end, and that's when the actual submit happens, like where you need to put your information, and you want to find out, did I get the questions right? Did I get the answers right? And so it's the same thing, that idea of compliance momentum and getting people to fill out the offer completely. But sorry to interrupt you there, Mason. I just wanted to.
No, you're fine. So also, keep that in mind for your landing pages as well. That because what I've seen people do on PPV, like in some of the other forums and things that are specific to PPV, they'll create a page that looks just like the advertiser's page, that that maybe is sized a little bit different, so it looks okay in the different pop-ups for the different networks, and then they click on that, and then they go to the real page. So the reason why they do that is because it gets them engaged a little bit better, because they've already clicked on something, and so now they're more likely to maybe fill out the email submit or whatever it is, instead of just popping a form up. So I hope that makes sense. You can literally just pop up the same page, resize it, put a big button, on there that encourages people to click in some way, and then send them to the offer. So that's one strategy for a landing page right there that I've seen people do that works.
So Mason, repeat that again.
Yeah, so like you just take this. Let's say this was just okay. This is our landing page. So instead of having the field in there, you just take Photoshop and basically just change this into a big button that says like click here or something, and then take them to this page where it asks them to enter something.
Got it. And that's to again, for that idea of compliance momentum, to get them to start clicking and taking action.
Especially from a pop-up, because it's the most interruptive form of advertising. It's hard to, if you get them to take that click, you really, that counts a lot more than it would, say, in, something that's much more targeted like PPC, that's something that people meant to click on, because this is interruptive. So it's harder to capture their attention because they're just going to close it most of the time within like a second or two. But if you get them to click, then, then you've captured them a little bit longer. Okay, so this is one of them. They have to fill out the whole thing, but you get $40 when they do. Now here's the problem with offers that pay out a ton, is that you have to spend more to test them, because your conversion rate is going to be lower, which is okay. I mean, you can still make money because the payout's so high. But the conversion rate will be lower, probably 4 times lower or something like that, whatever.
Can I just interject here and just, give that a kind of a more basic explanation? The reason that it's going to cost you more to test it is because you don't know if it's profitable until you've spent the amount of the payout and it, did or didn't convert. So basically, if you're getting paid out $1 and you spend $2 and no conversions, that's not going to work. If you're getting paid $40 and you've spent $1 or $2, you don't know yet. You don't know until you've spent, $38, $39 and there's no conversions. And then you can say, okay, this is not profitable. So that's the reason why it takes more money to test an offer that has a higher payout, just because you need to spend more to find out, is it going to convert before I get to the payout amount?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. It costs more to test. It costs more to optimize. The higher the payout, the more it costs you to figure it out. No, I mean, there's plenty of people that make these kind of offers work. But if you're on a budget, then you're better off picking something that pays out $5, because then you can spend 15 to test it. I mean, if you go 2 to 3 times the payout and you don't have any conversions, as a rule of thumb, that's a good time to move on and test something else. Well, I'm going to show you something though right now. Actually, let me show you this one. This is the one that we were kind of excited about, actually, because this one, the other one we were running, okay, it asked for a phone number and a zip code, okay, and it paid out $540, I believe, which was this one actually. And that we got that one to work. We'll show you that next week. But so this one though asked for an email and a zip code, and it pays a little less. But remember, people are more willing to give out their email than they are to give out their phone number. So our assumption is that our conversion rate will be a little bit higher to compensate for the $2 and 20-cent difference in payout, just because people are more free with the email address. So I still haven't gotten this one approved yet, but I like it. I like the landing page. Save up to 50% on your health insurance coverage. So that's a good hook to get people in there. Health insurance is expensive anyway. And then they don't have to put their phone number in. And then we get, just for these 2 fields, then we get $3 and 20 cents, which is not bad. Actually, he said he would bump us to $3.60, I believe.
Hey, so, Mason, can you pull up that landing page again?
Yeah.
Because I just want to bring up something really obvious that we haven't talked about because we haven't needed to, but notice that it's really clear what they want you to do on this landing page. It has a message up front. It has like the biggest benefit up front, right? The biggest headline, save up to 50%. It's got other stuff below it, other bullet points, right? That are other benefits, not as big as saving 50%, but start saving today, no obligation quote, multiple competitive quotes. Look at that. It's got the steps on the bottom, steps 1, 2, and 3. And that box for entering the zip code in the email is so big and obvious. It pops out. It's a darker, brighter color. The request quote button is big. You know exactly where to go. The whole page draws you to that, right? It really pops at you. And we haven't talked about this because all the offers really that we've had pulled up are pretty clear in that way. But I just wanted to bring that out, that when you're picking offers, when you're creating your own landing pages, that is the effect that you want to have. I mean, this landing page has so many good qualities about it that I would save it as a swipe, for any niche. I would save it as a swipe and use it. The picture is inviting. Everything draws you to doing what they want you to do. So I just wanted to bring that up as kind of, since this is a bonus call, it's just as an unrelated, here's something to pay attention to.
Yeah. So one of the things Leanne mentioned that she wanted us to talk about was when to stop running an offer and stuff. And I've done a couple of posts in the forum about that, and we've talked about it in this course as well. But that's something that you need to understand and get a feel for. And it's, you have to consider, and it's a judgment call. I can't tell you exactly, at what point to, whatever. You're going to have to make those decisions yourself, and it depends on a lot of things. But one of the things that you need to consider is, number one, how much, are they paying me for the information that I'm supposed to be getting, collecting from them? So, if they're going to pay me 50 cents for this, I know that I can't make that work already, right? But at $3.60 for 2 fields, that's not too bad. If this was a full app, at $3.60, obviously that's not going to work either. The more things you ask people to do, the lower the conversion rate, and the lower the conversion rate, the more money it costs you to generate it. That's basically it. So, but as a rule of thumb, if you go about 3 times the payout and you have some good targeted traffic, I'm not talking about some crazy theory you have about, left-handed women in Oklahoma and you're testing that, for some random offer. I mean, start with targeted traffic, and on PPV, that's your competitors and the like, stuff that's, that's very similar in nature to what it is you're promoting. I would, start with that. And then if you're trying to scale and you have some, weird theories about different things like, jobs over, or a credit report over jobs, or, something like that, that's sort of a lateral target. Now, we tried that right off the bat just because Steve and I have been doing this for a while and we have some money to play with. But if I were you, that's not where I would start with something. I want to find an offer that's going to convert. And the best way to find out if it converts is send some good targeted traffic to it with a good traffic source like traffic vans. That's a consistent flow of traffic. Now, some of the other, there's some other traffic networks out there like Miva or Miva, whatever you want to call it, Ad Knowledge, and some of those guys. Those aren't PPV networks, but the thing you have to remember about some traffic sources is that they change their traffic on a regular basis. So, I had an offer that was killing it on Miva one time. Killing it. Like, I was making like 300% ROI. I was making like $75 an hour. But then what happened, I was like, I'll sign an IO for any amount of insertion order for any amount of money you want. Just get me as much of that traffic as you can. But the thing I found out was only one of their placements or publishers was really driving all those conversions. And I don't know if they realized that and then they just started running the offer themselves, because, they'll cut you out, and like your ad rep might see that, and then, or maybe the publisher decide they don't like your offer and they blocked you from being shown on their page, because just like you can block them, they can block you. So that could be it. Or maybe, that publisher is just not in their network anymore, because publishers come and go. just like Google AdSense, people can, remove Google AdSense code from their site, and now they're not on the content network anymore. So you can't control that. And a lot of those traffic networks, the traffic can change on you on a daily basis, literally. And so I find that very frustrating. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there making a lot of money doing on those networks. But for me, it's just not consistent enough. So something like Traffic Vance, any of the major PPC, PPC networks, even the display networks that have a steady, base of publishers that are always there, are a good place to test things, because sometimes it's the quality of the traffic and not the offer itself. So that offer may very well work on a different traffic network, depending on the day and depending on the network, but it could work somewhere else because it's a good offer. However, the traffic quality is not good, for whatever reason. So you have to consider that as well, because really the first thing I'm trying to understand is, does this offer convert? And like I said, the best way to find that out is a consistent traffic source with consistent traffic quality and the most targeted traffic you can get. And then once you can get that to work, then move that somewhere else, scale it within that traffic network, try some landing pages, try some different angles to the offer, test those. Try to keep yourself profitable. If you're making, $100 a day in profit, only put $30 into testing something else. That way, even if you lost that whole 30, you still made 70. So you want to keep yourself cash flow positive if possible. So once you get something to work, start trying some other things. Start trying even some other offers, maybe with 10% of your traffic. Because here we can play with our percentages and tell it where to send it. And then, do that. But, do the math and keep yourself, in the black, even if it's only a few bucks. Because, what's $10 a day, or in profits? But, you want to make more than that. So, if you can at least put, that $10 in profit and test something else and break even for a little while until you find something else that's working, and then it just builds from there. So, just keep your budgets limited, buy targeted traffic, and, test offers that have a reasonable payout for the amount of information they're asking, and spend 2 to 3 times what the offer pays to test. And that's really the best guidelines I can give you on that. There may be times when I break those rules, but for now, you can stick with that, and then you'll figure out your own strategies from there. But that's just what I do, and works out. So anyway, so we want to run that. We'll let you know what happens as soon as I hear back from my rep over there at Traffic Vance to see why because when I click off of it, I don't get an exit pop. See, I just did that just now, and there's no exit pop. So I don't know what they're talking about. I've had this issue with Traffic Vance before where I've submitted things like 20 times, and they're like, it has an exit pop. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I don't know. But the most targeted traffic, whether you're talking about PPC, PPV, or anything, is your brand traffic. So one of the things I do for advertisers on AdWords is I make sure that they have good ad coverage on their own branded terms if they get traffic for that, because what will happen is your competitors will steal your traffic. So you want to get as much of your traffic as you can, because that is the most targeted traffic you can get. So, if someone's looking for bicycles, that's great. That's targeted to someone selling bicycles. But if someone's looking for Trek or Linsky performance bicycles or something like that, you really can't get more targeted than people looking for you specifically, regardless of what niche you're in. So what I was going to show you right now is I actually had paused this because I was waiting for them to fix this issue. But then I checked my stats this afternoon, and I noticed something that on this one, we had a conversion at $40. You can see
is that number of clicks correct, or is that just?
Oh, that was only for the day.
Okay, so like what was the actual?
It's been paused all day, but I just didn't know that it converted until until I got home like 20 minutes ago. So yeah, let me pull that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've had that happen before, where either stats were delayed or for some reason it didn't kick back to CPP Lab, and then by the time I checked, I'd already like paused the offer and went on to something else.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. It's saying that the lead came in today at 200. So earnings per click basically 15 cents, which is pretty good, considering we're only paying like 4 or 5 cents for a pop up. So a click here is the same as a pop up. So that made money, but
because you're direct linking this particular campaign.
Yeah, I'm direct linking this.
Right. Okay.
That made money, but one conversion, doesn't really. I don't consider that a trend. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it did make me go look at it though. And I'm like, okay, that's a good payout.
It has potential.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. And 271 clicks really isn't enough to test that offer anyway. I was just having the feeling that maybe it wasn't going to work, so I was waiting. I was going to split test this one against the speedy one that we were looking at with the 2 fields. That was what I was going to do, but I was going to wait until they fixed the thing. But so anyway, so I went in here and I pulled my sub ID report. Let me show you what that looks like, because I know we've talked about this 2 or 3 times on here, and it's really pretty simple. But I'm going to go to. Forgive me, I'm not too familiar with their reporting in this platform here, but I'll show you what I did. Oh, I have to pick an offer. Maybe it was today. No. That's weird. On the sub-ID report, they don't have it today, so I don't know.
Yeah, because it came in yesterday, probably.
Yeah, it did come in yesterday, but on the other report it was showing today, so I don't know.
Yeah, if you do year-to-date, it'll probably show up with the conversion on there. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, here it is. So
yeah,
what I did.
Let me just call attention to that all those random numbers and stuff. That's CPV Lab's doing. That's how they track, and so they know. Here's that click. CPV Lab knows when that click came in. It knows all the information about the targeting. And so when Mason pops that into CPV Lab's going to know where that came from.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah. So I took the sub ID and then I plugged it into, because I didn't have the pixel working, I plugged it into update stats with converting sub IDs. Right here, and I just pasted it in there. Not that. I just copied this and then pasted it in there, and then hit save, because I just want to see, where that conversion came from, right? So where is it? Sorry, that Skype's distracting me there. Yeah. Okay, so it converted over ehealthinsurance.com, and that's what I wanted to show you, because one of the things that you can do, not on direct CPV, but on Traffic Advance, and I believe on Lead Impact you can. And if you can't afford to buy in for Traffic Advance, then go ahead and do this on Lead Impact, because it should work the same. Now, it won't always work, but your success rate will be pretty good. Just start with only the target, of the actual offer itself. And it's, especially for those ones with a high payout like this, because they'll still convert decently sometimes on their own traffic. where you don't have to spend $120 to test this thing. But with the higher payout, with that one target, you could still actually make a little bit of money. So this is saying my earnings per view is 250, and my profit per view is $2.49, which means that I made $39.97 on that. I think it's calculating it based off 3 cents. I can update. We'll show you how to update the actual numbers in here next week, where it has the actual real cost. You just export it from here and upload it into here, and it'll calculate everything for you. But so let me just show you that real fast, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut off everything for right now. I might split this into its own campaign. I don't know yet. Actually, for right now, I'm not going to.
So, Mason, I just want to go back to something you said about targeting the actual offer. And do you still hear me? Because I just, my computer just...
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I want to talk about, actually popping over the domain of the offer. And what I understand from that is, if the offer is for e-health insurance, then you go to ehealthinsurance.com and you pop that offer, which is another link altogether, but that has that branding. And so when someone lands on eHealth Insurance, that pops up. It looks like it came right from the page. It looks, pretty official. They have a pretty good feeling about it. And if they're searching for ehealthinsurance.com or just landed on ehealthinsurance.com, then there's a pretty big trust factor when that pops up, and they're going to fill it out. So did I get that right?
All right, I'm muting myself. Yes, I mean, it's the same thing that they're already looking for. So, I mean, it's kind of like stealing their traffic from them, I guess. But
right.
If they don't disallow it and the network allows it, it's fair game to me. Whatever. That's the way it goes. So, anyway. But here's the thing to remember, though. If it doesn't convert on its own traffic, then you can be 98% sure that offer is not going to convert anywhere on that network, at least. So,
Interesting point.
Yeah. So, but if it does, then if it converts, then you can. The next step would be to go out and try to get more targets and start running it, on more targets to get more traffic. Because you're not going to get rich just, because this target only gets so much traffic, So yeah, that would be the next thing to do. Now, what can happen though is that it doesn't convert on any other targets, except its own target. So if that one target's still making you money, just leave it in there and then move on to another offer. If that happens. So, but then another thing that might happen is possibility number 2 would be that it converts on some of those other targets that you try, and then it just becomes a game of optimization and and adjusting of bids and pausing non-converting targets, which we'll show you that next week in the optimization webinar. That's next week, right, Leanne?
Yeah, that's right. And and that depends on really depends on us, but either next week or the week after, as long as we have a good amount of stuff to show everyone.
All right, cool. So anyway, here's what I'm going to do. So what I did is I went in here and I just paused everything, set them all to inactive, and then I went back into Traffic Advance. And what I'm going to do, and don't just try this on this offer, guys. Don't go out there and everybody bid on the same thing and do the same thing, because then it makes us all unprofitable. I mean, I don't really care if you do, but pick some more offers. This isn't going to make you rich anyway. So try 10 more offers out there on whatever affiliate network you're part of. And because there is no do this and do that. Because if everybody does the exact same thing, then nobody makes money, right? I mean, that's why those step by step things it never works that way, and you always end up getting ripped off because that's not the way it works. So I'm gonna rename this to eHealth. So some targets, I create their own creatives for them in traffic bans, just so I can organize them better. Like if there's like that when we're running the healthcare.gov, we split that out into its own creative, just so we can manage it. If we wanted to cap the budget on that specifically, we could, because they got a lot of traffic and stuff. And then it also, instead of having 50 targets to scroll through or 100 targets to scroll through, I just look at the one, and then I can easily change the bid. Since that's a high volume sort of thing, it's you want to kind of manage it by itself. So I'm going to leave it in the same campaign. I'm just copying the creative, and the reason why I'm doing that is so it doesn't go back through approval again. So I'm going to uncheck this box because I don't want all the other targets from this campaign. Hit copy, and then grab my URL. And I was putting that here. They don't want all that stuff, so I'm going to remove it. Okay, so that's my one URL that I've got. And then I'm going to bid like 15 cents. You can already see, this is already getting more competitive, this one target. Every time I try to do something, it gets competitive, like the day that I get it to work. But anyway, so yeah, at 15 cents, we should get some decent traffic. I don't know how much we'll actually pay for that, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, I think it'll back out at 15 cents personally, at $40. And then I'm going to go back here and resume the campaign. And I'm going to pause everything. And then unpause this one. All right, it shouldn't be, see, it's not in approval now. It doesn't have the little watchful eye on it. And yeah, it's ready to go. So there you go. Self-target on the platforms that you can. Like I said, direct CPV you can't. You might want to add maybe 5 or 6 competitors to it, because not all of the offers you're going to test have a lot of traffic to where you can it's even worth it. I mean, some of them you may self-target and get literally nothing.
So, Mason, I'm interested in something that you're saying. You're saying that in direct CPV you can't self-target, but I'm curious, do they actually go and check? Because a lot of times the links that you have don't go to the same, it's not going to be ehealthinsurance.com, offer page. It's going to be another page that is just related to eHealth Insurance, for example. So, how much of that do they actually check? Or is that just part of the rules and you're, really vanilla?
No, they check it. Yeah. They check to see where it goes. Mm-hmm. And then they make sure that as part of their approval process that URL is not in your targets. Interesting. I've had them disapproved before, so I'll say that.
Yeah, and I think from the conversation and from what I said, you guys can pretty much tell how differently I think from Mason, and Mason is really, out to do things right, and he gets stuff working right, which is amazing, because I think, you guys might not know this, but he's run, I think, millions of dollars per month for companies, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty high amounts in any case. And, you know, for me, I make stuff work, but, you know, I don't mind fudging things a little bit and doing a little bit of black hat. And that's just a difference in personality, you know. And if I get kicked off a network, I go, oh, well, you know, too bad. Here's another one for me to use.
You know what? I mean, to some extent, I'll do what I can get away with, just like everybody else. But I don't really want to, you know, Traffic Advance is a, you know, it's a, if you, I like just testing stuff and whatever, and they're one of the best ones out there for doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm careful with them because I want to keep running there forever, you know.
Got it. And that's a really good point.
If it was something I didn't care about as much, you know, I'd be like, all right, whatever. But this is my Traffic Advance account, and so I don't want to screw it up.
Right. So very cool. So what I want to do now, because this, and guys, you know, this replay is going to be posted in a few days, and I recommend you listen to the whole thing over again, because when Mason talks, I swear to you, you probably missed like 20 amazing things that he said. So listen to this webinar again and take notes when it's posted in the forum, or if you're listening on the forum now, watch it again and take notes. The things you catch coming out of Mason's mouth are going to make you money. But I want to kind of break things up by bringing up a question that Jim asked, about 30 minutes ago, and then move on to some of the other topics that I wanted to cover for you guys today. And here's the question. He says, do you have any idea if AdWords click-through rates could be related to keyword search phrase volume? And the answer to that is no, it's not related, because search phrase volume just means how many people are searching for the stuff. And the click-through rate means out of all the people that saw your ad, how many clicked on it. That's the click-through rate. So obviously you get more click-throughs the more people are searching, the higher the search volume. However, the actual percentage rate that's calculated is calculated according to the numbers that exist, not according to what could exist. So no, the CTR is not at all related to the search volume in that sense. Unless there's just so many, you know, so few searches that get skewed, right? There's 2 searches and 1 clicks, and all of a sudden you have a 50% CTR. Well, you know, that's kind of skewed. But as long as we're talking about normal numbers, then it has nothing to do with it. And I don't know if Mason wants to add anything about that.
No, that's right.
Okay, great. So here are some other issues that I wanted to share with you guys. First of all, I just want to say that the landing pages I showed you earlier that we've talked about for our case studies with the credit reports, we're actually going to make that available for you on the forum. And you could take those and edit them and run them yourself with some of the targeting that Steve talked about last time. You can edit the graphics. You know, you can have somebody edit the graphics for you and use it for something completely different. But they're good, high quality landing pages, and they're a great start for you guys. So we're going to make those available to you. And you know, there's 2 more things that I really wanted to cover, and the first one is, or 3 more things. I thought just 3 more things. And the first one is, should you have a landing page or not? We've discussed this in the past, so I just want to make a quick mention, let Mason mention some things from his experience. But what you've seen in our case studies is that when an offer is, you know, could be confusing, when you really have to pitch people on filling it out, you want to use a landing page. And landing pages, you know, they're going to raise the cost of your campaign, because now there's one more step for people to take. They're not just on landing directly on the offer and filling it out. They've got this extra step to take, and a certain percentage will take it and a certain percentage won't. Okay, so you've got a lower number of people going to the actual offer. However, they're going to increase your conversion rates if done right, because if you're popping something and a person sees it and has no idea what you're thinking and why that offer popped up, they're just going to close it. But if you tell them, hey, you know, if you want to, you know, get your car, you better have your credit checked first, otherwise you're going to get denied and you're going to be driving an old jalopy. Tell them that first, and then send them to the credit offer, and they're more likely to convert. So lower clicks, higher conversions pays out more than, you know, lots and lots of landing page showing up and 0 conversions. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And Mason, did you want to add anything to that LP or no LP conversation?
No, I think you got it.
Okay, awesome. And we've talked about that on the forum as well and other calls. And so two more things. One of them is how to stay focused. The other is when to start collecting leads. So let's talk about leads. And I do, some of you might know, I do a lot of business opportunities, network marketing, things like that. And so for me, collecting leads is an absolute necessity when I do my marketing. Why? Because they always say in business opportunities, the money's in the list. They say that in affiliate marketing too, the money's in the list. Why? Because once you have someone's email, you're not just spending money and, either they convert or they don't. Once you've got their email and they're interested in something, if you're doing financials, for example, and you're sending people to a credit score offer, if you collect their email first, maybe they didn't convert on that Think Credit offer, but they'll convert on the next offer that you email them. And now you're no longer paying for the traffic. You've got it. You've got the traffic in your inbox. You can send an email and make conversions, make money. But the question is, when do you start collecting emails? And I think that some people started a little bit too early. And my thing is, if you're running an offer in a specific niche and it's going really well, it might be time to open up another campaign, to duplicate your campaign, and to add in an email submit at the front, okay, or in between. If you've got a landing page with a button, then add in on the next page an email submit and then transfer people to the offer. And if you get similar conversions, you're going to lose some conversions again with an extra step. But if you can get the opt-in, you can continue to send people to offers, to whatever offers you want to send them to. And you can give them value and build trust if you really want to build a business around it and get people to trust you and like you. And then you can send them related offers. And a perfect example of that is the baby industry, right? The Babies R Us and pregnancy stuff. And once you get someone on a list for pregnancy, they always get your due date somehow, right? And I've gone through this too. I knew about this before, and then I actually went through it. You'll start getting offers for different things that you need during pregnancy, and then as the date draws closer, you get coupons for cribs and different things that you want for the baby's room, and for bottles and other things, and then you start getting offers for clothing for kids, for babies, and then clothing for toddlers, and then they have you for life. That if I stay on a list like that, a pregnant woman stays on the list like that, or a new father stays on the list like that, you can have them pretty much until like age 25 of the kid. You know what I mean? Because everything follows. Everything's so predictable. The clothing sizes follow. The holidays, are always great. The all the way up to where they're going to college, and then they're in college, and parents, need a vacation or whatever the case may be. I mean, you could have someone for 25 years. And that's the power of an email. And I want to bring it to Mason, though, and see, I don't know, Mason, if you've done any list building and just your thoughts on when someone should start that, if at all.
Well, if you're going to build a real business in any niche, okay, if you're just trying to test some different traffic and make a little money here and there and maybe get some experience with some different ad networks and things, and then go do consulting, and that's your whole goal, which that's what I do. I mean, I don't have a business in any particular niche. I mean, I know how to do market research, I know how to run things, and I'm experienced with traffic sources, so advertisers pay me to do that, or I can run CPA offers and get paid that way. So that's what I do. Now, if I was going to build a list, it would be of people, maybe attorneys or someone who wanted to, get into marketing. I could send them some content, some webinars, and then, build myself a funnel, so that I could get more clients. So that if I was going to build a list, that's what I would do, because that's how I make money. And this kind of stuff, that we're doing here is kind of just for fun. I'm thinking about just outsourcing, just testing every single offer on every network that I have, have my outsourcer do that, and just see if I can get anything to work. I mean, because I'll take $300 a day, whatever. I haven't been running a lot of CPA stuff just because that's not really the focus of what I do. But driving traffic, and that's how I get paid. And so if I was going to build a list, I'd build a list of people who, business owners and things that would want my services, and then that helps me maintain a relationship with them. I haven't done that. I work mostly off referrals, so I've been lucky that way. But that's what I'm actually gonna do that. I'm probably gonna put some ads up on LinkedIn and target some attorneys and some different people and see if I can get people to sign up for my webinar, and then go through how they need to set up analytics and different things. So if you can provide value in any given market, that's building a real business, and you can't do that without a list. I mean, it could be otherwise you're just it's kind of a hit or miss. In order to really have a real sales funnel, a real conversion process for whether you're selling something or whatever, you have to have that email list. Now, if the second way that you can build a list is just build a list really quick, and then just spam it with offers. You can do that, and a lot of people have done that. I'm not going to be the one that's going to tell you exactly how to go about that because I'm not an emailer. Email is difficult. There's legal things that you have to overcome. So, and especially if you're not really providing any value and you're just pounding them offers, you can make more money a lot of the times. And sending them to your own email submit and then just pounding them with offers. But you got to be careful because there's you can't. It's not. You can get banned from your email service. People don't remember that they signed up. Everybody reports you as a spammer. So there's a lot of things to consider with that.
Yeah, there's also people who buy a list of emails. They have to scrub them. Basically, networks, large advertisers that allow email marketing will have a list, a scrub list, and you basically have to delete or I forget the name for it. You have to basically block those emails from sending out to those particular email addresses. But the thing is, that's if you're purchasing emails. If you're building your own list, and the magic word that Mason mentioned is value. If you provide value, you're gonna have a long-term business. If you're spamming people, it's gonna be very short.
That list is gonna burn out. Yeah. That's only slightly better than just brokering traffic in terms of longevity.
Yeah.
It's just what you can sometimes make a little bit more by doing that off of each view or whatever you're doing. But it's still not a long-term business strategy. In the least bit. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever saw Jonathan Van Kloot's stuff where he used to he did that and he got banned from a bunch of different, but he made a lot of money in a week. Anyway, but that's still not a real business. So if you're going to build a real business, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need, a real site that has real content, that not crap, $5 article content that you buy from people on Odesk, but like real quality content. You're going to need maybe other forms of traffic, some landing pages where you can drop some paid traffic, and then your main goal of especially of the paid campaigns is to generate leads, and leads are an email list, and sometimes even with an address or phone number if you've got other ways of reaching out to people, but email's the most obvious and easiest to manage. And so yeah, if you're going to build a real business, you need an email list. That's the key.
Yeah, exactly. So good. And so we've got like 6 minutes left on here, and I'd love to answer more questions, but while you guys type in any questions you have, I just want to briefly talk about staying focused. Because that's a huge thing in this industry, and I've I think the biggest struggle that I've personally had is keeping focused on one thing, because here's what happens to most of us. We have the entrepreneurial mindset, and we go in and we see an idea. We see an idea, a creative idea pops up, and we absolutely have to try it. We got to do it. And so you might start and say, well, I'm going to run dating offers, and I'm going to try running dating offers on Plenty of Fish. And you start something up, and then someone tells you, hey, this network is great with dating offers, you should try that, and move on to that. And then you get, and then you look at that network and you see people are running gaming, and you say, okay, I'm going to try games on this network. And before you know it, you've got 20 different campaigns in like 20 different niches on 10 different traffic sources, and you can't manage everything. And so the number one thing that I learned about this is stay focused. Keep a list of ideas. Have a big list of awesome ideas, and refer to it once a day, once a week, and once a month, and just see what's in there that you can use. But if you continue to jump around, which we all do, believe me, we all do this. If you continue to jump around for every idea that you have, you will never get anything profitable. You'll never get anything done. So the only thing that I'll say, which I'll tie this into, the whole idea of when to call it quits. And Mason mentioned earlier, if you've spent 3 times the offer payout testing stuff and you're not getting it, it's time to stop that campaign. But there's also other things, right? It might be a niche that's just not good for you. And it might be a traffic source that just doesn't work with that niche. And an example of that I've seen is there's a network called the Add-On Network, which is pop under campaigns. And if you just do some research and find out what different traffic networks, what their demographics are, you're going to learn a lot about what you can run there. As an example, Plenty of Fish, let's say, and I know I started talking about Add-On Network. I'll talk about that again in a second. But Plenty of Fish, for example, is all about dating, right? If you go in there and you run dating campaigns and you do what you need to do to optimize and to learn it, you're going to eventually succeed. But if you try to run something totally different on there, it might not work, and it probably won't, right? It'll be a lot harder to get it working. Same thing, Add-On Network, their customer base is a lot of social media. So if you get on there and you try to run something totally irrelevant to that, it's probably not going to work. Okay, it's probably not going to work, or you're not going to get any traffic. So you kind of either have to look things up online and see what information is out there, or you want to talk to your ad rep and see what's in the network and what might work, because you want to know when to call it quits. And that has a lot to do with staying focused, right? Because you want to stick with something if it should work, but if it shouldn't work, you want to let it go right away and start something else, but not run a million things at once. So that's my little blurb on staying focused, right? And go ahead, Mason. I hear you unmuting yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what she says is absolutely right. So pick something. Everybody jumps around. Everybody's looking for the magic bullet. And I think one of the problems is with people that try to get into internet marketing, regardless of what they're trying to do, is they don't, because people get accustomed to, if I work X amount, I'm going to get paid Y, right? I mean, that's the way the world is. And if you have that mindset, you're going to fail, because it took me several years to get over that. I've been through the ups and downs of it all. I mean, I've gone from lots of money to none, several times over. And, you learn from that. You learn from your mistakes. Pay your taxes and stuff. You learn all those things. But
we've both been there, Mason.
Yeah. Outside of that, though, you set goals for yourself. The goal is not to make money. Okay, the goal is never to make money. That's not a goal. All right. I mean, that's a pie in the sky dream of sorts. Okay, and there's no guarantee in any of this stuff that we're talking about that if you put X amount of time or Y amount of money, then you're going to get anything back. And people get they put things off because they're like, especially when it comes to SEO and you got to write all this stuff and do all these things. And the people who stay with it and believe in what they're doing, that they can do it and they can make it work, that what they're doing is viable, and they keep going even when they're not making anything, they succeed. everybody else, which is the 99.9% of everybody else, regardless of what course you buy, what webinars you watched. I mean, this stuff is just, this is just information. It doesn't really mean anything. I mean, this is just how to drive traffic is what I've been talking about. But that really doesn't mean anything. You have to pick something, set goals, and understand that you're going to put time in, but that time is not going to nothing just because you don't make anything. It's going to learning. And it may take you a little while to get out of that mindset. That just the worker mindset that most people are in. It may take you a couple of years to get past that, but you know what? It's worth it. It's hard to convince yourself of these things sometimes. I've struggled with this for a long time, where it's like, there's no point in this, blah blah blah. I need to invest this much time, because sometimes you can invest a little bit of time and get paid a lot. Yeah. Sometimes you can invest a lot of time and get paid nothing. So, identifying those things that aren't that time consuming and that actually have worked for you. You may have to try a few different things at first, but you have to set those goals, stay with it, and then do stuff every day towards that. And then if you get stuck, with anything in particular, you can ask questions in the forum, and then we'll help you with that learning curve for whatever it is you're trying to do. Yeah. Sorry, that was a rant, but anyway.
No, we need to rant a little bit, because I think it's an important topic, and it's obvious that we've both struggled with it. I know that all the other coaches have struggled with it, and we still do to a certain point. I mean, I just recently learned my little trick about just writing ideas down, and no, you don't need to take action on them right away. You just write them down and let them sit and let them marinate. And sometimes that's really important to just have that. But anyway, Mason, thank you so much for all the information and all the things that you shared today. Like I said before, and I'm not joking, you'll want to listen to this again, because I guarantee you missed about 20 things that are going to just change your business. When Mason speaks, you have to listen like multiple times. It's all like condensed information, and you need it. So thank you for that, Mason. Always appreciate your time and your input.
Well, thank you.
And thanks, guys, for your questions and your comments, and for being on. And we're going to get this posted, and you'll be able to ask more questions and make more comments. And I'm looking forward to the next module, where we're going to show you more on the case studies. And of course, we're on the forum to help you with your own case studies. So get them started, get them posted. If you have questions, write them down. Start a new thread in the Jumpstart forum, and we'll help you out. We're really looking forward to working with you on your campaigns. And once again, I want to thank Rick, our audio video guy, who just does an amazing job of editing these and getting them posted for you very quickly. So
thanks, Rick. For sure.
All right. So with that, we will see everyone on the forum. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye.